Very good afternoon, children. This is L.K. Tripathi, SST teacher from LPM Public School, Gola Bazar, Gorakhpur. My dear students, today we are going to study about History chapter 3, that is the peasants and the Raj. Now, first of all, we shall see about the company becomes the Diwan. On 12th August 1765, the Mughal emperor appointed the East India Company as the Diwan of Bengal. We can say this was a great mistake of the then Mughal ruler, Mughal emperor, appointing the East India Company as Diwan of Bengal. This was a great mistake of Indian ruler. The actual event most probably took place in Robert Clive's tent, with a few Englishmen and Indians as witnesses. But in the painting above, the event is shown as a majestic occasion taking place in a grand setting. The painter was commissioned by Clive to regard the memorable events in Clive's life. The grant of Diwani clearly was one such event in British imagination. Why I told you this was a great mistake of the Mughal Emperor of India to appoint the East India Company as Diwan. Robert Clive, who was undoubtedly a clever officer, Governor General of India, who encashed this event and this opportunity in very profitable and positive way. On the highest post of the revenue collection, Englishmen were given chance to collect revenue. Many paintings are there in the picture, in the pages of this chapter. It shows that all the events were majestic occasion. It means the picture is glorifying the Robert Clive and his company. The grant of Diwani clearly was one such event in British imagination. जो दीवानी का ग्रांट इनको मिला, ये निश्चित रूप से जो ब्रिटिश ने इमेजिन किया था, जो उनकी इमेजिनेशन थी भारत पर शासन करने की, मजबूत पकड़ बनाने की, वो यहाँ पूरी होती है. एज दीवान, द कंपनी बिकेम द चीफ फाइनेंशियल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर of the territory under its control. Now it had to think of administering the land and organizing its revenue resources. This had to be done in a way that could yield enough revenue to meet the growing expenses of the company. Just having this chance, I mean to say, became Diwan of the territory. They started to administer the regions, also started to organize the land and collecting revenue. A trading company had also to ensure that it could buy the products it needed and sell what it wanted. Over the years, the company also learned that It had to move with some caution. Being an alien power, it needed to pacify those who in the past had ruled the countryside and enjoyed authority and prestige. Those who had held local power had to be controlled, but they could not be entirely eliminated. Now, the British East India Company started holding the power according to their own appointment of officers, appointment of the authorities of the state. They dealt themselves. Those who had held local power had to be controlled, but they could not be entirely eliminated. जो लोग वहाँ पर लोकल पावर हेल्ड करते थे उनको भी रखा गया, उनको पूरी तरह से बाहर नहीं किया गया उनकी टीम में, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की टीम थी. हाउ वाज दिस टू बी डन? इन दिस चैप्टर वी विल सी how the company came to colonize the countryside, organize revenue resources, redefine the rights of people, and produce the crops it wanted. Now, revenue for the company. The company had become the Diwan, but it still saw itself primarily as a trader. It wanted a large revenue income, but was unwilling to set up any regular system of assessment and collection. The effort was to increase the revenue as much as it could and buy the cotton and silk cloths as cheaply as possible. Within 5 years, the value of goods bought by the company in Bengal doubled. Before 1865, the company had purchased goods in India by importing gold and silver from Britain. Now the revenue collected in Bengal could finance the purchase of goods for export. Soon it was clear that the Bengal economy was facing a deep crisis. Artisans were deserting villages since they were being forced to sell their goods to the company at low prices. Peasants were unable to pay the dues that were being demanded from them. Artisanal production was in decline and agricultural cultivation showed signs of collapse. Then in 1770, a terrible famine killed 10 million people in Bengal. About 1/3 of the population was wiped out. The need to improve agriculture. If the economy was in ruins, could the company be certain of its revenue income? Most company officials began to feel that investment in land had to be encouraged and agriculture had to be improved. How was this to be done? After 2 decades of debate on the question, the company finally introduced the permanent settlement in 1793. By the terms of the settlement, the Rajas and Talukdars were recognized as Jamidars. They were asked to collect rent from the peasants and pay revenue to the company. The amount to be paid was fixed permanently. That is, it was not to be increased ever in future. It was felt that this should ensure a regular flow of revenue into the company's coffers and at the same time encourage the Jamidars to invest in improving the land. Since the revenue demand of the state would not be increased, the Jamidar would benefit from increased production from the land. The problem, the permanent settlement, however, created problems. Company officials soon discovered that the Jamidars were in fact not investing in the improvement of land. The revenue that had been fixed was so high that the Jamidars found it difficult to pay. Anyone who failed to pay the revenue lost his Jamidari. Numerous Jamidaris were sold off at auctions organized by the company. By the first decade of the 19th century, the situation changed. The prices in the market rose and cultivation slowly expanded. This meant an increase in the income of the Jamidars, but no gain for the company since it could not increase a revenue demand that had been fixed permanently. Even then, the Jamidars did not have an interest in improving the land. Some had lost their lands in the earlier years of the settlement. Others now saw the possibility of earning without the trouble and risk of investment. As long as the Jamidars could give out the land to tenants and get rent, they were not interested in improving the land. On the other hand, in the villages, the cultivators found the system extremely oppressive. The rent he paid to the Jamidar was high and his right on the land was insecure. To pay the rent, he had to often take a loan from the moneylender, and when he failed to pay the rent, he was evicted from the land he had cultivated for generations. A new system is devised. By the early 19th century, many of the company officials were convinced that the system of revenue had to be changed again. How could revenue be fixed permanently at a time when the company needed more money to meet its expenses of administration and trade? In the northwestern provinces of the Bengal Presidency, an Englishman called Mackenzie devised the new system which came into effect in 1822. He felt that the village was an important social institution in North India society and needed to be preserved. Under his directions, collectors went from village to village, inspecting the land, measuring the fields, and recording the customs and rights of different groups. The estimated revenue of each plot within a village was added up to calculate the revenue that each village had to pay. This demand was to be revised periodically, not permanently fixed. The charge of collecting the revenue and paying it to the company was given to the village headman rather than the zamindar. This system came to be known as the Mahalwari settlement. The Monroe system in the British territories in the south, there was a similar move away from the idea of permanent settlement. The new system that was devised came to be known as the Reotwar. It was tried on a small scale by Captain Alexander Reid in some of the areas that were taken over by the company after the wars with Tipu Sultan. Subsequently developed by Thomas Munro, this system was gradually extended all over South India. Reid and Munro felt that in the south there were no traditional zamindars. The settlement, they argued, had to be made directly with the cultivators who had tilled the land for generations. In this way, we have studied up to here. Rest we shall discuss in the next video. Till then, thank you and goodbye.